The twin suns were setting on the alien marketplace. The sky burned red and gold, and long shadows stretched across the broken stone streets. Crowds of aliens moved from stall to stall, their voices mixing into a low hum. The air smelled of smoke, oil, and food. It was a busy place, but in the middle of that noise, one figure stood out. A poor alien mother held her baby close. Her skin was pale and tired, her clothes torn at the edges. Her child was small, too small for his age. His eyes were half closed, and his breath came weak and shallow. The baby whimpered, a sound that cut through the noise like a blade. The mother's heart broke every time she heard it. She reached into her small cloth pouch and pulled out a handful of coins. Her hands shook as she counted them. 1, 2, 3, 4, that was all. Not enough. The shopkeeper had told her the price earlier. Baby formula cost 10 coins. She had only 4. Her eyes filled with tears, but she forced them back. She could not cry. Not here. Not in front of everyone. She looked at her baby again. His lips were dry, his skin dull. He needed food now. Not tomorrow. Not later. Now. The mother stepped to the formula stall again. The shopkeeper, a fat alien with rough gray skin and 3 yellow eyes, looked at her with no kindness. "Do you have the money now?" he asked in a deep voice. She opened her hand and showed him the 4 coins. "Please," she whispered. "Take this. Just a little formula. Just enough for one night. My baby is sick." The shopkeeper laughed, a sound like rocks grinding together. 4 coins, he said. "That will not even buy you a spoonful. Come back when you have 10. But my baby," she tried to speak, but the shopkeeper waved her away. "Go, do not waste my time. I have real customers." The mother's throat tightened. She wanted to scream. She wanted to beg louder. But she knew it would not help. No one in this market cared about her or her child. She turned away, her arms shaking as she held her baby tighter. The crowd moved around her. No one looked at her. No one stopped. Some saw her, but they turned their eyes away. To them, she was invisible. Just another poor beggar in the marketplace. Her heart was heavy. She thought, is this the end? Will my child die in my arms tonight? She stepped into a dark corner, sitting on the cold ground. She rocked her baby slowly, whispering old lullabies. Her child's eyes fluttered. He was weak, too weak. She pressed her forehead against his and let one tear fall. As the suns dipped lower, the shadows grew longer. She felt smaller with every passing second, as if the whole world was crushing her. She looked again at the 4 coins in her hand. She wanted to throw them away. They were useless. But she could not. They were all she had left. Then something strange happened. The noise of the marketplace dimmed for her. She felt a presence nearby. She looked up and saw a tall shadow stretching across the ground, falling over her hands. The shadow did not belong to any alien she knew. Slowly, she raised her eyes. A figure stood there. It was not one of her people. It was not even from any species she saw often in the market. This figure was tall, straight, and strange. The face was hidden under the hood of a simple traveler's cloak. But one thing was clear. This was a human. Her breath caught in her throat. Humans were rare here. Most aliens feared them. Stories whispered that humans were violent, unpredictable, even dangerous. They fought wars. They changed worlds. Many believed humans were cursed. If you crossed paths with one, your life would never be the same. The mother froze. Why was a human here? Why was he standing over her? For a moment, silence fell between them. Only the sound of her baby's weak whimper broke the air. The human looked at her, then at the coins in her shaking hand. She pulled her hand back quickly, as if protecting the coins. They were useless, but they were hers. The human crouched down slowly, moving with calm care. He did not speak at first. His eyes were dark but not cruel. They seemed to study her, to study the child in her arms. The mother's heart beat faster. Fear mixed with hope. What did he want? Did he mean harm? Did he only come to watch her suffer? She wanted to shout at him, to tell him to leave, but no words came. She was trapped in his gaze. Finally, the human reached into his cloak. Her breath stopped. Her mind screamed, is he pulling a weapon? Her arms tightened around her baby, ready to shield him. But instead of a weapon, the human pulled out something small. His hand opened and light from the setting suns glimmered on it. It was a coin, but not just one coin. It was a stack of them, more than 10. Enough to buy formula, enough to save her child. He placed them gently in her trembling hand. The mother's eyes widened. Her lips parted, but no sound came. She looked at the coins, then at him. Her mind could not understand why. Why would a human do this? The human said nothing. He only stood tall and quiet, his shadow still covering her, and then without a word he turned to walk away. The mother stared after him, her heart racing. Her baby whimpered again, but now there was hope. Still, one question burned in her mind, stronger than fear, stronger than hunger. What does a human want in return? The marketplace was still alive with noise, but for the alien mother, time had stopped. Her hand shook as she clutched the stack of shining coins the human had placed there. The weight of the coins felt unreal, heavy, powerful, enough to change everything. Her baby whimpered softly in her arms. Hope and fear clashed inside her heart. The formula could save her child. But the question twisted like a knife in her mind. Why would a human help me? She looked up. The human was walking away, his tall figure cutting through the crowd. People stepped aside as if his very presence pushed them back. Whispers rose in the marketplace. Did you see that? One alien murmured. A human gave her money? Impossible. They are dangerous. This must be a trick. The mother's ears burned. Every word of doubt fed her fear. Was this truly kindness or a hidden trap? She turned toward the formula stall. The shopkeeper's 3 eyes were wide as he stared at the coins in her hand. His greed showed in his face. You actually got money, he muttered. Then he forced a smile. Yes, I will sell you the best formula, fresh, take it. The mother's hand trembled as she gave him the coins. He quickly packed the small bottle of formula and shoved it toward her. She grabbed it, clutched it close, and hurried away. She could not trust that man's smile. In a quiet corner, she opened the bottle. Her baby stirred weakly, lips searching. She poured the formula carefully, letting the child drink. For the first time in days, the baby's cries softened. His eyes blinked open, brighter, alive. Tears slid down her cheeks. Relief rushed through her like fire and water at once. Her baby would live, at least for tonight, but her joy could not silence the fear. The human had given her more money than she had ever held. No one gave without reason. What did he want? She looked up again, scanning the crowd. The human was leaving the market, his cloak brushing against the ground as he walked toward the outer streets. Something inside her whispered, "Follow him. Find out the truth." She hesitated, then stood. With her baby held close, she moved after him. The streets outside the market were darker, quieter. The twin suns were sinking lower, shadows growing long and sharp. The human walked with steady steps, not looking back. His figure seemed both ordinary and strange. No armor, no weapons, just a traveler's cloak. But his presence carried weight, like a storm hidden under calm skies. The mother kept her distance. Her baby slept now, his tiny breath soft against her chest. Every few steps she told herself to turn back, to run home, hide, and never see the human again. But something stronger pulled her forward. Curiosity, fear, hope. The human stopped at a small, empty fountain in the middle of the street. The water was dry, the stone cracked. He sat on the edge, pulled something from his cloak, and stared at it. The mother crept closer, her heart pounding. She hid behind a broken wall, watching. The object in his hand was not a weapon. It was a picture. A small, worn photo on thin paper. The human's rough fingers traced the edges slowly, gently. The mother's breath caught. The picture showed a woman and a child. Both were smiling. The woman held the child in her arms, the way the alien mother held her baby now. The human's face softened as he looked at the picture. His lips moved, though his voice was low. She could barely hear. "I hope you are safe. I hope you are alive somewhere," he paused. His shoulders shook once like a silent cry. Then he whispered, "I could not save you. But I can save another." The alien mother froze. The truth struck her like a lightning bolt. This human, he had lost someone, a child, a family. And because of that pain, he had helped her. Not for profit, not for trickery, but because he remembered his own loss. Her throat tightened. She wanted to step forward to speak, to thank him, but fear chained her feet. Would he be angry if he knew she had followed him? The baby stirred in her arms, letting out a small sound. Too loud, too sharp. The human's head snapped up. His eyes searched the shadows, piercing like blades. The mother froze in terror. Her breath stopped. His gaze fell on her hiding place. Slowly, he stood. The picture disappeared back into his cloak. His steps echoed as he walked toward the broken wall where she hid. Her heart raced. Should she run? Should she beg for mercy? The human's shadow fell over her once more. This time there was no market crowd, no noise, no escape. Just the human, the mother, and the baby between them. The human's voice broke the silence. Calm, steady, but heavy with meaning. You followed me, he said. The mother gripped her baby tighter, her whole body trembling. She opened her mouth, but no words came. The human waited, eyes locked on hers. The night around them seemed to hold its breath. And in that moment, one question filled the air, burning in both their hearts. What happens now? The night air was cold. The marketplace noise was far behind now. Only silence stretched around the broken fountain where the human stood, his tall shadow falling across the alien mother and her baby. Her hands clutched her child so tightly that her knuckles turned pale. The baby stirred, sensing her fear. The human's voice had been calm, but it pressed into her chest like a heavy stone. You followed me. The mother could not lie. Her lips trembled. Yes. The human studied her for a long moment. His dark eyes showed no anger, but no warmth either. They were unreadable, like the night sky. Finally, he said, Why? The question was simple, but it struck her like a blade. She could not answer. How could she say it? That she did not trust him? That she feared his kindness more than she had feared her hunger? Her throat was dry. Because no one gives without reason. The human tilted his head slightly. His cloak shifted in the wind. Then he crouched down, lowering himself to her level. His gaze went to the baby in her arms. The child blinked sleepily, tiny hands curling. Your child, the human said softly. He was starving. The mother swallowed hard. Yes. And now he lives. His voice was not proud, not cold. Simply true, the mother's eyes stung. She wanted to scream at him, to demand answers. But her heart was heavy with fear. Why did you help me? What do you want in return? The human was silent. His hand went to his cloak again. The mother flinched, but he only pulled out the worn picture. He held it where she could see, her breath caught. The woman and child in the picture smiled up at her. A family. This, the human said quietly, was mine. His voice cracked just slightly on the last word. But they are gone. I could not save them. And now? His eyes lifted to her child. I will not let another suffer if I can help it. The mother stared at him. His words were simple, but they carried weight. A pain too deep for her to imagine. Still, suspicion clawed at her mind. Was this true? Or was it a story to make her lower her guard? She whispered, You are human. Aliens fear humans. They say you are violent. Dangerous. The human gave a small, tired smile. Perhaps we are. But sometimes, even dangerous creatures can feel kindness. The mother's heart raced. His voice was not like the stories. There was no cruelty in it. Only loss. For the first time, she felt her fear shift. It did not vanish, but it changed shape. From terror to uncertainty. Her baby stirred again, letting out a soft cry. She rocked him gently. The human watched in silence, his expression unreadable. Finally, the mother found her courage. You gave me more than I needed. Too much, why? The human looked at her directly. Because one day I hope someone will do the same for me. If my child still lives somewhere out there, maybe a stranger will help. His words hit her like a wave. She had nothing to answer. She only looked down at her baby, who now slept peacefully, his small chest rising and falling with life. For a long moment, neither spoke. The night air was heavy with silence. Then footsteps echoed nearby. A pair of aliens walked past, whispering to each other. That's the human, one hissed. Careful. He must be planning something. Helping a beggar? No, humans always want power. Watch, you'll see. Their voices trailed away, but their words stayed. The mother's fear returned, sharper than before. She looked at the human, her body tense. The crowd's whispers would spread. People would say she was marked, cursed by human kindness. Would they cast her out? Would they harm her child? She realized something frightening. His gift was not just coins. It was a choice. She could take the formula, thank him, and walk away forever. Pretend it never happened. Hide from him, hide from others, and survive in silence, or she could trust him. Listen to him. Accept that his kindness was real and that maybe, just maybe, humans were different. Her chest tightened. Survival or trust, fear or hope. She met his eyes again. His gaze was steady, waiting. He was not forcing her. The choice was hers. Her lips parted, but no words came. Her heart pounded like thunder. At last she whispered, "If I trust you, will you protect my child?" The human's eyes softened. Slowly he nodded. "Yes, with all I have left." Tears blurred her vision. She wanted to believe. She wanted to hope. But in the back of her mind, a cold voice whispered, "What if this is the biggest mistake of your life?" The night grew darker. The stars began to appear above. The human stood slowly, pulling his cloak tight. He looked down at her one last time. "Decide carefully," he said. "Tomorrow everything may change." With that, he turned and walked into the shadows of the street. The mother held her baby close, her heart heavy with fire and ice. She watched his figure fade into the night. Her mind was torn in two. Had she just found a savior, or invited danger into her life? And so the question hung in the air, sharp and unbroken. Would she choose to trust the human, or fear him forever? The night stretched on. The alien mother sat in her small shelter at the edge of the marketplace, her child resting in her arms. The air smelled of dust and smoke, and the wind rattled the thin metal sheets that formed her walls. She had nothing, no real bed, no safe door, no warm fire. Only a broken cot, a blanket too thin for the cold, and her baby. But tonight there was something new. A small bottle of baby formula lay in her trembling hands. She uncorked it carefully, her eyes wide as if afraid it might vanish. The baby stirred, his lips searching. She lifted the bottle to his mouth. At first he was too weak. His tiny body trembled and his eyes closed again. Fear stabbed her heart. "Please," she whispered. "Please, little one, drink." She touched the tip of the bottle to his lips again. A drop touched his tongue. Slowly, so slowly, his mouth began to move. He sucked weakly, then stronger. His chest rose, his throat swallowed, her heart leapt. Tears rolled down her cheeks. For the first time in so many days, her child was drinking, truly drinking. Minutes passed. The baby's eyes fluttered open. They were brighter now, less clouded. He let out a soft sound, half a cry, half a sigh, and his small hand reached up, brushing her chin. The mother let out a sob of joy. She kissed his forehead again and again, whispering, "You will live. You will live." For that moment she felt peace, but peace did not last. Her eyes fell on the coins that still remained. The human had given her far more than one night's survival. Enough for days, maybe even weeks, enough to change her life. Her hands tightened around them. Why would he do this? The whispers of the market came back to her ears, sharp as knives. Humans never give without reason. They only help when they want control. Be careful. He will come to take something back. Her joy twisted into doubt. She looked at her child again. His eyes were closing, sleep claiming him at last. His small chest rose and fell steadily. He looked peaceful. Safe. But was he truly safe? Or was danger closer than she dared imagine? The night grew colder. She wrapped the blanket tighter around them both, rocking slowly. Her thoughts would not rest. Images flashed in her mind. The human's tall shadow, his silent steps, his dark eyes that seemed to see through her, his picture of a family lost to time. She remembered the way his voice cracked when he spoke of them. Was it real pain or a mask? She shook her head, angry with herself. "He saved you," she whispered to her baby. "He saved us both." Still the question would not die. What does he want in return? By morning, the marketplace was alive again. Aliens shouted their prices, carts rumbled across stone, and the smell of fried meat filled the air. But something was different today. Whispers followed her wherever she walked. Eyes lingered on her longer than before. "There, look," one alien muttered. "That is the one the human helped." "Her?" "The beggar woman." "Yes, she carries human coins now." "Watch her. She will bring trouble." She lowered her head, holding her baby close as she hurried past. Shame burned in her chest, but also fear. The crowd did not see her as lucky. They saw her as touched by danger. At the stall, she bought more formula. The shopkeeper's hands were eager, his greedy eyes shining at the sight of human money. "Come anytime," he said, smiling wide. "As long as you can pay." His words were kind, but his tone carried poison. He cared nothing for her or her child, only for the coins. She walked away quickly. All around her, whispers spread faster than fire. Why would a human give to her? Humans always want something. We will find out soon enough. She is cursed now. Her hands shook. Every voice pushed her deeper into fear. That night, she returned to her shelter. Her baby drank again and slept peacefully, stronger than before. His cheeks had a touch of color now, not the pale gray of hunger. It should have filled her with joy. Instead, she sat in the darkness staring at the coins. The human's gift lay heavy in her lap, a mountain she could not climb. She whispered to herself, "If he comes back, what will he ask? My home, my freedom, my child?" Her chest tightened at the last word. She hugged her baby tighter, pressing her face into his soft skin. She could not lose him, not to hunger, not to sickness, and not to a human's hidden price. Her heart was torn in two. Gratitude pulled her one way, fear dragged her the other, and in the middle of that silence a sound broke the night. Footsteps, slow, heavy, coming closer to her shelter. Her breath caught. She froze. The bottle of formula slipped from her fingers onto the ground. Her mind screamed one word: human. She held her baby close, trembling in the shadows. The footsteps stopped just outside her door. Silence. Then, a knock. The knock at her shelter door had faded into silence, but its echo stayed in her chest all night. The human did not enter. He did not speak. He only waited for a few heartbeats, and then walked away into the darkness. The mother did not sleep. She held her baby all night, staring at the coins, listening for footsteps that never returned. By morning, her child was stronger. His eyes opened wide, his voice louder. He cried with real hunger now, not the weak whimper of death. For the first time in weeks, his tiny body moved with life. She should have felt joy, but instead her stomach was heavy with dread. When she stepped into the marketplace, all eyes turned toward her. Whispers spread faster than the dust in the wind. There she is, the one the human touched. She carries his money. Foolish woman. Does she not know what he wants? She kept her head low, clutching her child close, moving quickly through the crowd. But the voices followed her. An old alien woman blocked her path, eyes sharp and accusing. "Do you think this is luck?" The woman hissed. "Humans never give for free. He will come back for what is his." The mother shook her head weakly. "He saved my child." The old woman leaned closer. "And one day he will take something greater." The words pierced like a knife. She hurried away, but more voices came. A trader shouted across his stall, "Careful with her. She carries human shadow now." Another muttered, "He must want to claim her child. Why else give her so much?" Her hands trembled. She hugged her baby tighter as if to shield him from their words. At the formula stall, the shopkeeper smiled with too many teeth. "Ah, my best customer," he said. His yellow eyes gleamed. "Still carrying human gold, I see." She placed the coins on the table, her voice low. "Just the formula. Nothing else." The shopkeeper leaned closer. "Do not trust him. He will return. And when he does, you may not like his price." She snatched the formula and left, her heart beating fast. Everywhere she went, it was the same. Eyes watching, whispers spreading, fear twisting into rumors. That night she sat in her shelter again, her child drinking peacefully. His small body had grown warmer, stronger. She kissed his forehead, tears of relief in her eyes, but even in this quiet moment, the rumors echoed in her head. He will take something greater. He wants your child. Her chest tightened. She remembered the picture he carried, the family he had lost. Was that kindness or warning? Did he see her child as a replacement for his own? The knock from last night replayed in her memory. Slow, heavy, silent. Why had he come? Why had he left without a word? She whispered into the darkness, "What do you want from me?" Her baby stirred but slept on. The night gave no answer. The next morning, a group of aliens waited near her shelter. She stepped out and froze. Their faces were grim, their voices sharp. "Stay away from the human," one said.
"He will bring danger to us all," another warned.
"You should leave this place," a third added, her chest clenched. "Leave?" "I have nowhere to go." "Better nowhere," one hissed. Then under a human's shadow. They walked away, but their words stuck like thorns. She held her baby tighter. She thought of leaving the marketplace, of hiding in the far desert. But how would she survive? With no coins, no food, no shelter, her child would die, and yet if she stayed, would the human return? Would the aliens turn against her? That night she dreamed of shadows. She dreamed of the human standing at her door, his hand reaching for her child. She woke with a cry, sweat on her skin, her baby crying too. She rocked him, whispering, "No one will take you, not even him." But the fear would not leave. Days passed. Her baby grew stronger each time he drank. His eyes shone brighter, his voice louder. His laugh returned, a sound she thought she had lost forever. Each laugh filled her heart with warmth. But every coin she spent felt like a chain binding her closer to the human. One evening she stood in the market again, her child laughing softly in her arms. A small crowd gathered near the fountain. She turned her head and froze. The human was there. His cloak hung heavy, his eyes dark, his steps slow. Aliens whispered and backed away, but they did not leave. They watched, waiting, hungry for proof of their fears. The mother's heart pounded. She wanted to run, but her legs refused to move. The human's gaze found her. For a moment, the market was silent. The baby in her arms laughed again, reaching out his small hand toward the human. Gasps rose from the crowd. Whispers turned to sharp voices. See? He wants the child. He marked her. It begins. The mother's arms tightened around her baby. The human took a slow step closer. Her chest burned with fear and confusion. Gratitude fought against terror. Kindness against rumor. And in the fire of those voices, one thought screamed louder than all the rest. Was he truly her savior? Or the beginning of her greatest loss? The crowd's whispers filled the marketplace like a storm. Every word struck the alien mother's heart. He wants the child. She is cursed now. It begins. Her arms tightened around her baby, holding him close as if she could protect him from every shadow. Her child laughed, unaware of the fear that gripped her chest. The human stood still in the center of the fountain square. His dark eyes rested on her, unreadable. The crowd shifted nervously, waiting for him to make a move. For a moment, the mother thought he would come toward her. But instead, he turned away. He walked past the fountain, down a narrow street, and vanished into the dark alleys of the city. The crowd broke into murmurs again. Strange. He leaves, but he will return. Watch her. Watch him. The mother felt every eye burning into her. She lowered her head and hurried home, heart pounding. That night she could not rest. Her baby slept peacefully, full and warm, but she sat awake. Her thoughts twisted like knives. The rumors were growing too strong. Soon they would not just whisper, they would act. She had to know the truth. Her hands shook as she made the decision. She wrapped her baby safely in blankets, kissed his forehead and whispered, "Stay safe, little one." Then she stepped out into the night. She followed the path the human had taken. The city's night was quiet but dangerous. The stars above flickered between dark towers and broken roofs. Strange voices whispered in distant alleys. The mother walked quickly, keeping her hood low. She searched for the human. His tall figure was not hard to follow. Aliens avoided him, leaving space wherever he passed. At last she found him. He stood in an abandoned courtyard where a dead tree rose from cracked stone. The twin moons shone on him, silver light wrapping his cloak. The mother hid behind the corner of a ruined wall. Her breath was shallow, her heart racing. The human reached into his cloak. Her mind screamed again, a weapon, but no. His hand emerged with the same small picture she had seen before. He stared at it in silence for a long time. Then he spoke. "I failed you." His voice was low, heavy. "I promised I would protect you, but war took you from me. I was too far, too weak, too late." His shoulders shook once. His hand tightened around the picture. "I search every world," he whispered. "Every market, every street. I look for faces that might be yours. A glimpse, a shadow, a lie I can turn into hope. But you are gone." The mother's eyes filled with tears before she could stop them. His pain was raw, sharp, not the voice of a liar, the voice of someone who had lost everything. The human lifted his head, looking at the sky. "If I cannot save you, then I will save others. No one should feel the emptiness I carry. Not human, not alien." His words cut through the silence, steady and clear. The mother pressed a hand to her mouth. The truth struck her like a storm. He had helped her. Not because of greed, not because of a hidden plan, but because his own heart had been broken. Because her suffering reminded him of his own. Her chest ached. For days she had lived in fear of his gift. Now she saw it differently. The coins, the kindness, it was not a trap. It was grief turned into mercy, but still fear whispered inside her. If he had lost a child, would he try to see her baby as his own? A sound betrayed her, a stone shifting under her foot. The human's head snapped toward the wall. His eyes narrowed. "Who is there?" The mother froze. Her breath stopped. She pressed against the wall, heart hammering. Slow footsteps approached. The human moved with quiet strength closer, closer. She knew she could not hide. Finally, she stepped out of the shadows, clutching her arms across her chest. Her voice trembled. "It's me." The human's eyes softened slightly. "You followed me again?" "Yes," she whispered. "I had to know." He studied her in silence. The picture was still in his hand. He did not hide it. "You heard?" he said simply. She nodded, tears in her eyes. "You lost them. Your family." His jaw tightened. He gave the smallest nod. The mother's throat burned. She wanted to thank him, to comfort him, but fear still wrapped her. "And now?" she whispered. "Why do you look at my child?" The human's gaze met hers. Strong. Honest. "Because he reminds me of what I lost. But not as a replacement." His voice lowered, softer now. "I would never take what is not mine. I only wish to protect what I still can." Her body shook with relief and doubt all at once. His words felt true. His pain was real, yet fear clung to her like chains. The human looked at her child's blanket hidden in her arms. His expression changed. No hunger, no claim, only sorrow. "Keep him safe," he said. "Love him as I could not love mine. That is all I ask." Silence filled the courtyard. The night wind stirred the dead trees' branches. The mother's tears fell freely now. For the first time, she did not see a monster in the human's shadow. She saw a broken soul walking the galaxy with nothing but grief and kindness left. Still, her heart whispered the old warning. Humans are dangerous. Do not trust them. The human turned to leave, cloak brushing the stone. His steps were slow, heavy. Before she could stop herself, she spoke. "Wait." He paused, not looking back. Her voice trembled, but she forced the words out. If you protect him. If you protect us. Maybe the others will see. Maybe they will learn humans are not what the stories say." The human's head tilted slightly. For the first time, a hint of hope flickered in his eyes, but he gave no answer. He walked into the night, his shadow stretching long behind him. The mother clutched her baby, her tears falling onto his small face. She whispered, "He is not a monster." But will they ever believe it? The days passed, and the marketplace never forgot. Whispers still followed the alien mother wherever she went. That is her. The human touched her life. She walks in his shadow. Careful, she carries danger. But her baby grew stronger. His cheeks filled with color, his cries were louder, his laughter brighter. Every sound of life was a victory. She fed him, rocked him, kissed him, and for the first time in many cycles she dared to imagine a future. Yet the whispers weighed on her heart. She lived between two worlds. Gratitude to the human who had saved her child, and fear of the crowd that hated his kindness. The human had not returned since that night in the courtyard. Still, his presence lingered like an echo. The memory of his pain, his promise, his words. No one should suffer alone. One evening, as the sun sank low, the marketplace stirred with sudden alarm. Shouts rang out. Stalls slammed shut. Aliens ran toward the fountain square. The mother's heart clenched. She hurried with the others, clutching her baby close. In the square, she saw him again, the human. He stood tall, cloak shifting in the wind. Around him, a circle of angry aliens had formed. Their voices rose in accusation. "You gave her money. What do you want from her child?" "Humans bring war." "We will not let you curse us. Leave this place or we will drive you out." The mother's blood turned cold. She could feel the hatred in the air, sharp as knives. The human stood calm, his eyes steady. He did not draw a weapon, did not raise his voice. He only said, "I wanted nothing. I gave because I remember what I lost." The crowd roared louder. They did not believe. The mother's legs shook. She wanted to run, to hide. But then she looked at her baby, laughing softly, reaching with tiny hands. Her child was alive because of this human, alive because of a stranger's mercy. And for the first time she found her courage. She stepped forward into the circle. "Stop!" she cried. The crowd turned. Eyes burned into her. Fear pressed on her chest, but she held her baby high. "This child lives because of him," she said. Her voice trembled, but she forced it louder. When no one else cared, he gave. When no one else looked at us, he saw. The aliens muttered. Some sneered, some looked uncertain. The mother's tears fell, but she kept speaking. "You say humans bring war. Maybe they do. But this human brought life. My son's laughter is proof. His kindness is real." The baby laughed again, bright and pure, breaking through the angry voices. Silence fell for a moment. The crowd shifted uneasily. The human's eyes met hers across the square. They were dark but not empty. For the first time they held a spark, small, fragile, but real. He stepped forward slowly, not to her, but to the crowd. "You fear me because of stories," he said. His voice was calm, steady. "But stories are not always truth. Pain taught me something. The galaxy is full of walls. Humans break them, sometimes with fire. But sometimes—" His gaze shifted to the mother and child. "Sometimes with mercy," the crowd murmured. Some looked down, uneasy. The mother held her child close, whispering, "See, not all shadows are dark." The days that followed were tense. Some still whispered against him. Others began to question. And slowly, like cracks in stone, small changes spread. The shopkeeper no longer sneered openly. Traders watched the human from a distance, but no longer shouted. And a few, just a few, looked at him with curiosity, not fear. The mother saw it happening. A shift, small but real. A single act of kindness was rewriting a story older than her lifetime. Her baby grew stronger each day, his laughter echoing through the narrow streets. People stopped to watch, their hard eyes softening for a moment. They asked quietly, "Is this the child the human saved?" And when she nodded, they said nothing more, but their silence carried less hatred than before. One night the mother saw the human again. He stood on the edge of the city, staring at the stars. The moons lit his face, and for the first time he looked less like a shadow and more like a man. She approached slowly. Her child was asleep in her arms. "You changed things," she said softly. The human shook his head. "Not me, him." His eyes went to the sleeping child. "He is hope. They see life in him, not me." She stepped closer, her heart steady. "But it was you who gave that life back." The human's lips curved almost into a smile, though sorrow still lingered in his eyes. "Maybe, but hope belongs to him now, to you. My story's over." The mother shook her head. "No, your story has only begun. They will speak of you. They will remember you not as a monster, but as a savior." The human turned toward the stars again. His voice was quiet. "Then maybe my family, wherever they are, will hear it. And no, I did not forget them." The mother's eyes filled with tears. She whispered, "They would be proud." For a long moment they stood in silence. The night was calm. Then the human pulled his cloak tighter and began to walk. He did not look back. His shadow stretched long behind him, fading into the dark. The mother held her child close, watching him disappear. Her heart was heavy, but filled with something new, something stronger than fear. Hope. And in the days to come, the story spread far beyond the marketplace. It spread to other towns, other worlds. A single tale whispered across the stars. A poor alien mother counted her last coins for baby formula, until a human passed by and helped. And in that story, something shifted in the galaxy. Because humans were not only war, not only danger, humans were memory, humans were loss, and humans were mercy.